Play it safe, and you'll survive. But take the risk. Live the story that no one forgets. This world doesn't remember the careful. It remembers the bold. No risk, no story. The lie we were sold. They told you to be careful, to color inside the lines, to follow the path everyone else walks. And you'll be fine. But fine is a coffin. Fine is quiet desperation dressed in a button-up shirt. Fine is the slow death of your dreams under a roof called comfort zone. From childhood, they trained you to avoid risk. Don't climb too high. Don't dream too big. Don't speak too loud. Don't stand out. Why? Because risk is scary. Because failure hurts. Because people might laugh. Because the world might see you fall. But here's the truth. Every great story was born in fire. And fire doesn't live in safe places. Fire lives where courage walks. The men you admire, the legends you watch, the people whose names echo through time, they all risked everything. They risked being misunderstood. They risked being hated. They risked losing. And in doing so, they wrote stories so wild, so painful, so powerful, that even in death, they still speak. So let me ask you, what story are you writing right now? Is it worth remembering? Or are you living a chapter no one will read? Safety is a cage, the safest place on earth. A prison cell. No noise, no chaos, no risk, but also no freedom, no growth, no glory. That's what comfort does. It tricks you into believing you're free, while quietly locking the door behind you. And here's the crazy part. You don't even notice the bars, because they look like a steady paycheck. They look like approval from others. They look like, I'll start tomorrow. But your soul knows. You feel it at 2 a.m. when the silence gets loud. You feel it when you're stuck in traffic, heading toward a job that drains you. You feel it when you see someone else win, and something deep inside whispers, that should be me. But it isn't you, because you played it safe, because you wanted guarantees. You waited for signs. You avoided the storm, and missed the lightning. See, no one ever built a legacy without risk. No one ever found themselves by standing still. The greatest things in life, the wildest dreams, the deepest loves, the fiercest battles, they all come with risk. But what if I fall? Yeah. But what if you fly? Because every hero starts with a choice. Stay small and safe, or risk everything for a life worth telling. The price of playing it safe. Let's be honest. Most people aren't living. They're just avoiding death. They clock in. They clock out. They numb the pain with entertainment. Scroll, swipe, repeat. They dream in silence and die in routine. Because playing it safe isn't free. It costs your ambition. It costs your fire. It costs your story. How many souls rot behind smiling faces, trapped in a life they settled for? Because here's the truth they won't teach you in school. Security is a lie. That safe job could disappear tomorrow. That comfort zone, it gets smaller every day. That dream you keep postponing, it's dying every second you wait. You think risk is dangerous? Try regret. Try waking up 20 years from now with nothing but excuses and missed chances. Try telling your future kids why you never went after it. Try explaining to your younger self why you chose fear over fire. Let me ask you this. What's really scarier? Failing in front of others, or never knowing who you could have been? The fire in the fall. Let's flip the narrative. Let's stop treating failure like it's the enemy. Because in reality, failure is the blueprint. It teaches what safety never will. It humbles you. It stretches you. It wakes you up. Every setback you survive gives you scars. And scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that you showed up to the fight. You fell. Good. That means you tried. You lost. Good. That means you're learning. The difference between the ones who make history and the ones who disappear in it is that the winners didn't stop when it got ugly. They didn't run when it got lonely. They didn't fold when no one clapped. They stood up again and again and again, while everyone else stayed on the ground. Because risk sharpens the soul. When you step into the unknown, you find parts of yourself you never knew existed. You discover strength you didn't believe was real. You earn a story that nobody can take from you. That's what legends are built on. Not comfort, not caution, but chaos and courage. The price of playing small. Let's be real for a second. What's the price of staying safe? Of never risking? Of always waiting for the perfect time? You think playing small is free? It's not. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your fire. It slowly erodes your soul while convincing you that mediocrity is noble. But no one remembers the ones who stayed in the shadows. No one tells stories about the man who never took the leap. No statues are built for the cautious. And deep down, you know this. There's a fire inside you, buried maybe, but it's there. A voice that whispers, "There's more to you than this." And that voice gets louder every time you see someone else rise. It aches. It burns. Because part of you knows. You could have been that person. You still could be. But only if you move. Only if you risk. Only if you walk through the fire instead of avoiding it. Because safety is a beautiful lie. But it will never give you the life you were born to live. The people who changed the world. They're not waiting for permission. They're bleeding, failing, falling. But they're moving. And that's what separates the forgotten from the legendary. The quiet ones who dared. They didn't scream. They didn't ask for attention. They moved in silence and risked it all. The world doesn't remember the ones who stayed safe. It remembers the ones who gambled everything for something greater. Look at the greats. They weren't the loudest in the room. They were the ones with the wildest hearts. The ones who knew. You don't get legacy without war. Taking risks doesn't mean being reckless. It means having the courage to walk into the fire, knowing you might burn, but also knowing that what you become from that fire is worth more than any safety. No story begins with, "I played it safe and followed the crowd." But the legends, they start with a risk, a leap, a moment of, "What if I fail?" followed by, "But what if I fly?" The quiet warriors, the unnoticed strikers, they write their names in time not with noise, but with impact. You don't need permission. You need hunger. You need fire. You need to be the one who jumps even when the bridge isn't finished. Because the world honors results, not excuses. And if you're not willing to risk the fall, you'll never earn the rise. Burn to rise again. There's a reason the phoenix burns. Not because it loves pain, not because it enjoys destruction, but because rebirth demands fire, and greatness demands risk. You want to unlock your full power? Then you better be willing to risk the death of who you are today. You can't become the warrior while clinging to the comfort of the civilian. You can't tell a legendary story while holding on to safety like a blanket. At some point, you will be faced with a choice. Do I stay in the known, or do I chase the unknown? And that moment, that's where the greats are born. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. When no one is watching. When fear is louder than reason. And you choose to move anyway. Your story isn't written in the winds. It's written in the risks you took. When everything inside you said, "Don't," and your soul whispered, "Jump." That whisper, that's your calling. That's your battle cry. And if you're brave enough to listen, you'll find out the truth. The best chapters in your life will always start with a risk. Risk is the currency of legacy. Here's a truth nobody likes to admit. You don't get remembered for what you avoided. You get remembered for what you overcame. You think legends were born playing it safe. No, they risked it all. Their time, their peace, their sanity, sometimes their lives. Because their story was worth the fire. And that's what you have to decide now. Is your story worth the fire? Do you want to be the man who played by the rules and disappeared quietly? Or the man who risked everything for a vision only he could see, and carved his name into the stone of history? The world isn't waiting for the careful. It's waiting for the daring, the bold, the few who walk into the chaos not because they have no fear, but because they've decided that fear won't stop them. Because here's the brutal truth. If you don't risk something, you'll never build anything worth remembering. And if you die without ever stepping out of line, without ever risking failure, heartbreak, or pain, then you never lived. Your story starts where your comfort ends. And greatness, it's written in blood, fire, and risk. You've come this far, and if you're still watching, then maybe, just maybe, you're not like the rest. You're not here for motivation. You're here for transformation. Because deep down, you know your life isn't just a random timeline of days. It's a damn story. A story that's been waiting on you to finally pick up the pen and write like hell. No risk, no story. No risk, no legacy. You want people to remember your name? Then risk becoming someone worth remembering. You want to stop being invisible? Then stop playing small. Stop hiding behind excuses. Burn your plan B. Cut the safety nets. And dive headfirst into the arena. Because if you die today, without giving it everything you've got, you die with your story untold. And this world, it doesn't need another average life. It needs your full fire, your chaos, your truth, your war cry. So go write it. No more waiting. No more safe. No more silence. No risk, no story. Now go give them one worth telling. If you truly want to understand how comfort is your greatest enemy, watch this video.